Hello children. This video consists of appreciation of the poem. You know, appreciation of the poem is very important and appreciation comes for 5 marks. So here I am giving you the appreciation for 2 poems. One is 1.1 where the mind is without fear, and another one is 1.4 all the world's a stage. So please start learning. You can take this as notes and start learning the appreciation, children. We'll just go through it. I'll just read it out for you. First one is where the mind is without fear. Now when we write an appreciation, when it is of 5 marks, you have to consider 5 points there. 4 points are given there actually. First point is that you have to write the name of the poem, that is a title. Then you also have to write the name of the poet. So poet's name has to be mentioned. Third is you have to write rhyme scheme, whether the rhyme scheme is there or not there. And fourth, you have to write figures of speech which have been mentioned there. And the last is central idea. So accordingly, I have prepared the appreciation for you. We'll just see the first poem's appreciation. The poem Where the Mind is Without Fear is written by the famous Indian poet Rabindranath Tagore, who also wrote the Gitanjali. So in this, the poem and the poet's name has already come. The poem is a portrayal of the miserable state of a country under foreign rule and the noble dream to get freedom for it. There is no rhyme scheme in the poem, therefore we say that it is written in the free verse. So rhyme scheme is not there, so it is in the free verse. So this is the another point which I have covered. Next is figure of speech, which I have covered in this line. The poet has used several figures of speech that add beauty and power to the poem, like alliteration, metaphor, personification, synecdoche, apostrophe, etc. But the figure of speech that appealed to me the most is into the dreary desert sand of dead habit. It is metaphor. The dead habits are indirectly compared to dreary desert sand. And then comes the central idea, which is of 2 marks. So this should be a bit lengthy. So we'll see in central idea what you can write. The central idea of the poem I have repeated twice, please cut that off, is about the poet's vision of freedom for his country. The poem carries indirect reference to the misery and suffering, please make it suffering, and suffering experienced by the country under the British rule, fragmented by casteism, regionalism and communalism, blind faith and superstition, which is crippling its progress, whereas knowledge and education is restricted. The poet desires and prays for an overall awakening of people of the nation and wishes not only political freedom but also social, intellectual, economical and spiritual liberation. So this is the appreciation for the first poem. So you can start learning it. Appreciations are very important. I have also added figures of speech. So we'll have few figures of speech for the first poem, Where the Mind is Without Fear. See, here I have taken the examples for alliteration. Alliteration, you know it very well, where the first letter is repeated or the sound of the letter is repeated. So we'll see few examples. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high. In this line, there is the repetition of sound of W and H. So it becomes alliteration. Where the world has not been broken up into fragments. Here W is repeated. So we can also write alliteration. The letter W is repeated twice for better poetic effect. Where words come out from the depth of truth. Here we have the word, the letter repeated as W. Where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection. Here we have 2 letters repeated, T and S. Then into the dreary desert sand of dead habit. Again the repetition of the sound D. So all these sentences are the example for alliteration, where the sound is repeated or the first letter is repeated. Now we'll see the example for metaphor. Metaphor means indirect comparison, where 2 things are compared but indirectly compared without using like as so. So let us see. Clear stream of reason. Here reason has been implicitly compared to a clear stream. So instead of writing implicitly, children, you can write there indirectly. Here reason has been indirectly compared to a clear stream. Dreary desert sand of dead habit. Here old habits have been, again you write it there, indirectly. Here old habits have been indirectly compared to dreary desert sand. So two things have been indirectly compared, so these two are the example for metaphor. Personification, you know very well children, that is when we give the human quality to any inanimate object. So we'll see here, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection. Why it is personification? Because here tireless striving has been given the human quality of stretching its arms. Next, dreary desert sand of dead habit. Here habit has been given the quality of death. Dreary desert sand of dead habit. So habit is said to be dead. So dying is the quality of humans. That is why this is personification. Next, into that heaven of freedom, my father, let my country awake. This is synecdoche, because instead of the people we have written country. We should have written their people. So instead of writing people we wrote country. That is why country stands for the people of the country. So it is synecdoche. This is also apostrophe. Apostrophe means when we address a person and the person is not in front of us, or when we address any inanimate object who is not there, who does not exist only, or if he exists he is not there. So here you see the writer is talking to God and God is not in front of him, but then too he is addressing God as if God is standing there in front of him, as if he is talking to him, as if God is there in front of him. So when we just imagine a person in front of us and we start talking to the person, then that is called as apostrophe. So here apostrophe, the poet is addressing the Almighty, though Almighty is not present there. So that was the figures of speech for first lesson. We come to 1.4, appreciation of the poem All the World's a Stage. Again I have given you the appreciation here children. The format is the same. First the poet, title, poet, rhyme scheme, figures of speech and central idea. So I'll just read it out for you. The poem All the World's a Stage, written by William Shakespeare, is taken from Shakespeare's play As You Like It. The poem has no rhyme scheme, but it has a steady rhythm of 5 beats. Thus the poem is written in blank verse format. Please remember children, this poem is actually in blank verse because of rhythmic beats. So don't write here free verse. You have to write it as blank verse. Many figures of speech has been used in the poem like simile, metaphor, personification, transferred epithet, etc. The prominently used figure of speech throughout the poem is metaphor. Means the most used figure of speech. So example, all the world's a stage. Metaphor, the world is indirectly compared to a stage. Then is the central idea. The central idea of the poem is to depict the cycle of life. The poet has compared the world to a stage where we humans have our exit and entrances and we play various roles in our lifetime. The poet has divided life into 7 stages, each having its varied qualities and features. The poet describes the span of human life from infancy to old age, bringing out the different features of all. The poem shows that life is arranged in a particular order and highlights the changes in life. This poem reflects the poet's worldly wisdom and insight into human character. So this is the appreciation. Now we come to figures of speech. Creeping like a snail. Here again the comparison is done and the word like is used. So obviously this is simile. So please write the explanation which I am giving to you. Please don't write that two dissimilar objects. Listen to what I am saying and copy it down. Simile. And the explanation will be, the movement of the child is compared to the creeping of the snail. The movement of the child is compared to the creeping of the snail. Soldier bearded like the bird. Again like word is there, so obviously this is simile. Please write the explanation that I am giving. The beard of the soldier is directly compared to the beard of the bird. The beard of the soldier is directly compared to the beard of the bird. Sighing like furnace, again simile. So the explanation is, the lover's sighing is directly compared to furnace. The lover's sighing is directly compared to furnace. Then, men and women merely players. Now this is metaphor. Here we don't have the word like, as or so. So obviously it is, comparison is there, but then it is metaphor because like, as, so is not used. Metaphor. Implicit, don't write. Indirect. Indirect comparison between two different things. So instead of writing this explanation, please write what I am saying. Metaphor. Men and women are indirectly compared to players. They have their exits and their entrances. So it is alliteration because the letter T and E is repeated. Then is metaphor. Implicit comparison. Please don't write that. Write it. Here exit means death and entrance means birth. So you can write it in this way also. Birth is indirectly compared to entrance and death is indirectly compared to exit. Sighing like furnace with a woeful ballad. See, this we already wrote as simile before also. It is alliteration also because the sound of W is repeated. And next is transferred epithet. When we transfer a adjective from one person to another thing or from one thing to another thing. Let us say it is not the ballad that is woeful but the lover. So here actually woeful is the lover. But now we have not written that the lover is woeful. That woeful is transferred from the lover to the ballad. So this is called as transferred epithet. Okay, few more examples. This is again in repeat way, but you can obviously understand it again. So simile I just told you, creeping like a snail, soldier bearded like the bird. Onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia is what? A word denoting a sound. And then the whining schoolboy. Whining means complaining. So whining word denotes sound here. Sighing like a furnace. Sighing is again which denotes sound. Then alliteration, you know very well. They have their exits and their entrances. And his youthful horse well saved a world to wide. So this is 3 figures of speech. Then next we have metaphor. This we already did just now. They have their exits and their entrances. Men and women merely players. Then come to inversion. Inversion means where the sentence is not in the correct order. So here if you see, first line do not write it because that is wrongly printed. We'll go for the second line. With eyes severe and beard of formal cut. Why is this inversion? Which part of the sentence is wrongly written? Wrongly written with eyes severe. It should not be like that. How it should be? It should be with severe eyes. So the explanation for inversion is the sentence is not in the proper order. The proper order is with severe eyes and beard of formal cut. And transferred epithet, first one I just explained it to you with a woeful ballad. Second one, let us see, into the lean and slippered pantaloon. So the pantaloon is not lean here. Lean means thin. The pantaloon is not lean here. The old man is lean. But that lean quality of old man is transferred from the old man to the pantaloon. That is why this is transferred epithet. So we have done with the appreciation and the figures of speech. Do learn them properly, children. It will help you out. Thank you.